Let's begin.
Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored.
Well, hello there, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode
of the Married and Bored podcast.
We are so happy to be here. So happy
Yes.
that you're here.
As always.
It's been a few days since we've last spoke.
Few days, few weeks, maybe a month.
Life gets in the way, right?
Life does get in the way.
It just happens.
I've seen a lot of people on our social media feed, like in the board game community, that have posted in one way or another something like, I'm taking a break from Instagram for a while. Life is
whatever.
such and such. And it's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. You got to take a break sometimes. Ours wasn't intentional.
No, but
just...
as you know, we have a new cat and we have a couple shows, Mandalorian.
We're gonna
Last of Us.
blame TV.
I mean, there's just a lot of things competing for our time.
That's true. Well, we made time.
We did.
Mostly because those shows are almost over.
No, it's because we love being here.
No, and we had a lot going on. So yeah, we're glad to be back. Let's just jump right into this, Angela. What's been going on? What's up? I think we have a big what's up. So I'll let you describe kind of what we've been doing the past few weeks and the big, not announcement, but the funnest thing we did in the past couple of weeks.
Yes, we had our second annual board game weekend.
Yeah.
So it was the same place we went to last year. If you're new or just don't remember, we live in Arizona, and so we live in the valley, the hot part, the part you think about when you think of Arizona.
The one that looks like a desert.
Yeah. And we drove about 3 hours to the mountains, and it actually snowed the night before so much that the road we were going to take was closed.
Yeah.
When we first woke up to go there, and then, luckily, everything was fine. There was no real snow on the roads. It was just stacked on the sides. So it had already been plowed.
But it was plowed. Like, it was pretty high when we were driving through.
Yeah.
Like, it was as tall as our car.
Yeah, there's tons of snow. Just thankfully not on the roads.
No, which was great. There are two roads to go to the city. We went to a place called Show Low, Arizona. And there are two roads that go into Show Low. And both of them were closed overnight, the night before we wanted to leave.
Yes.
And so we were going to get up and go and get up there early because it is a 3-hour drive and the snow or whatever. But we ended up just a little delayed. We still got there in plenty of time, but just had to be careful.
Yes. So anyway, we made it to our second annual board game weekend, and we had more people than last year.
Yeah, almost double.
Yeah, so that was cool. We had our normal gaming group was able to make it, and then we had a few guests. One who unfortunately only stayed for 12 hours.
Yeah, that was a real bummer.
That was sad. But, again, like we said, life happens.
Life will find a way.
Yep, and his kid was not having it. So
no, got sick overnight and just didn't feel right being away for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So we played here. Do you want to break down our stats? Because we had one of our people up there in our gaming group was doing some stats.
Yeah, so thank you, Nick, for doing this. There's an app out there called BG Stats, and he was tracking everything we did this weekend. And I'm not going to go down the list because I think lists and podcasts are terrible, and they're kind of boring. Okay. But anyways, we played, there was 26 plays of a game over a 3.5 day weekend, basically.
Well, yeah, some people were in and out. We came on Thursday. So Thursday night was our first play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there was some people that only came Friday.
Yeah, it was basically Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's 26 plays and a total of 20 different board games.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so you can do the math and realize that some of them were played twice.
Yes.
So that was really cool. I don't know if there's one we played the most, but Mission Catastrophe is the one that we played the most. That got 3 plays.
Yep.
I think one game took really short, And so they played
Yeah.
it right away again.
Yep.
We weren't in that group. But the group, like Angela said, it was a little bit bigger than last year. Last year we had, I think it was exactly 5
Yes.
for the whole weekend. And so every game we played, we could easily accommodate. Like
Right.
most modern board games go up to 5. No problem. This year we had 9 or 8, I think. And
We had to split up.
we had to split up, which was great. That was the goal, being able to play with different people, play different games.
Yeah.
Just get a different vibe throughout the weekend with different groups. So it was
And
pretty
we
fun.
wanted people to be able to sit out and, relax and do something else for a while if they wanted to. And so it was a blast. I'll just say my highlight was probably maybe our first social deduction game that we played on Friday night.
Okay.
We ended up playing a lot of social deduction, like not games, but rounds of the same game. And then it got to be too much and people were...
A little too into it and a
Yeah.
little... Not that anyone got, upset
No,
or
but
feelings hurt, but after you play so many games in a row where it's like, I don't know who's telling the truth, I don't know what's happening, it gets kind of... And everyone's so accusatory.
yes.
It's like, you did it! It's like, no, I'm not even playing this game.
Yes. So we played Secret Hitler, which, is not my favorite name.
The theme, take it or leave it.
Not my favorite, but the actual mechanics of the game, great. I've never played before, so that was fun.
Yeah, it's very fun if you have a good group.
Yes.
And we had, we think we had a good group.
Yeah, of course. And then probably, even though it took 4 hours split into 2 sessions, probably my teach of Arc Nova was the other most fun.
Yeah, I would
I
say
did.
even from the other guys that were in that group, that was their favorite game of the weekend.
It makes my heart so happy.
which is funny to me. The group that we go with is usually into well, maybe it's just me that thinks this, but dudes on a map type games.
Yeah, area control,
Yeah.
battling, yeah. Like Ankh, and I mean even though it's semi-cooperative, there's a little bit of battling and Unfathomable and yeah, so we've had games like that be successful in our gaming group. And this one was nothing like that, and I was surprised that at the end of 4 hours.
It was a long... it's a long teach the first time you play it. Ours, with 2 people, took 2 to 3 hours, so...
Yeah, and there was 4 of us, so that's the max.
Yeah.
And rightly so, were very slow turns to begin with, because they're trying to figure out all the different options.
What to do.
Yeah. So, anyway, but I'm so glad that they liked it.
Yeah. How was it? I was going to say, how was it at 4? We played it a lot at 2.
Mm-hmm.
You did it a lot solo. What's the biggest change that you noticed playing it with more people?
Oh, I think just time.
Yeah.
I think that it's actually really well scaled all the way down to solo.
Yeah.
There's not much difference between a 2-player game and a 4-player game except time. I feel like...
Maybe the amount of cards you see.
Maybe, but it didn't feel that... I don't know. It didn't feel that way. It wasn't
Okay.
It wasn't like, when we played Ahoy at 2 and it's like, what? Something's missing.
Yeah.
Or games that, you've probably played in the past where it just feels like, even though this says 2 to 4, what they really mean is 3 and 4.
Yeah.
This was not like that. I think it scales really well.
Yeah, and I remember you saying that when we talked about Arc Nova in our regular episode. You loved the solo version.
Yeah, go back and listen to it if you haven't. Okay, what about you? What was your favorite part, Christian?
I think I actually won a few games.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, which is not really something I do well.
Well, you've talked about it on here.
I know, I talk about it a lot. And then I was going into the weekend being like, well, you know what? Like you just said, I'm going to have to teach a lot of games because a lot of them are the ones that I brought.
Sure.
And so I'm the guy who's teaching it. And so when you teach a game, you're kind of like explaining other people's turns. And then when it gets to your turn, you're just like, whatever. Like,
I'll just go quick we can get this moving.
Yeah. And so I never win. Mm-hmm. And I won a game of Ahoy pretty handily.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I'm trying to remember what else I won.
Mission Catastrophe.
I did win that one.
Yeah.
And if you haven't played Mission Catastrophe, it's pretty interesting. It's like a whimsical Nemesis, kind of.
Yeah, like Nemesis way light.
Yeah. It plays in like 45 minutes.
Right.
You're on a ship, it breaks, you got to fix it or everyone dies.
Yes.
There's no alien, but you can run out of oxygen. It's Nemesis adjacent.
There you go. It's the same type of theme, just more whimsical than like Alien the movie.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I won that on basically the last turn. I was able to get to the remaining escape pod.
Man, like a sneaky SOB. Everyone was paying attention to someone else who was so close, and then Christian was just like, "Whoop, I got it."
And I did win a round of Secret Hitler at one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. When I was on your team,
I was I was elected president.
Yep. Yeah.
So that was very fun. I think game highlights for me. I did enjoy playing Ahoy. I liked that game a lot. Some other games that I liked playing. I got to play Vast. Leader games theme here, I guess.
Yes.
Vast was very interesting. We played Mariposas, which was fun. I sat out Unfathomable because there were some people who hadn't played it that wanted to play it.
Yep.
That's usually one of my favorites. You and I played Great Wall.
Yeah.
Which is one that I wish we would have played with more people, but I think it would have been another 3.5, 4 hour game.
Yeah.
And so like when you have a couple of those back to back, it makes for, like a long afternoon.
Yes. I cannot wait until the third annual.
Do you think, like, what would you do differently? Like, it's gone well the past 2 years.
I guess
We're very lucky to have a place that can accommodate a ton of people.
Yes.
So like we could
invite more.
Do you invite more? Like, and then you start thinking about like logistics of food. That's like so much more food.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the group we had this time was really good. And if there's something similar, like anywhere between 7 to 10, I think
10 is like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
If you could get that, it'd be great. Also, more females.
Well, yeah, I was the only female. But here's the thing. It's like, you're caught between a rock and a hard place, or I feel like I am. Because, yes, I totally want more females there. But I don't want more females there that don't want to play board games.
To take you away from a board game?
Right, because then it becomes like, oh, well, Christian and
the
I don't
boys.
know, blank, some other husband, go play a game. Me and fill in the blank woman will go do something else. And not that that's bad. That's just not what that weekend is
You're also
for.
there to play games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that it's the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my overall takeaway from the whole thing is that we played a ton of games. And that was what we were there to do. The weather was awesome. Like we said, it snowed. So the first day it was just like picturesque outside with like snow on the pine trees and very, very cool.
Yes.
We made some good food. We played some fun games. It was really fun. Looking forward to doing it again next year, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And it was better than the first year.
That's true.
I mean, the first year was great.
Yeah.
But the second year was better.
Yes,
so
it
the
was.
third year, even more so.
Third time's a charm, they say.
All right.
But we have a really fun episode to talk about.
Well,
to continue.
Christian's really excited because it's one of his favorite themes.
Yeah.
Star Wars. So we're going to talk about the new Star Wars deck building game. This episode is sponsored by Showit. Are you stuck in a boring website template? Maybe you don't even know where to start. Experience the true creative freedom with the drag and drop simplicity of a Show It website. Our website, marriedandbored.com, is a Show It website, and we love how simple it is to create. Get started for free at showit.co. You won't be disappointed.
All right. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was a game called Star Wars Destiny.
Yes, there was.
And much like the Empire, it died.
Yes. Is that funny to you, Christian?
I thought it was funny and also really dumb that I thought of that. So anyways... I
thought it was great. I was going with it. He did not prep me for that. So I was like, okay, we're telling a story.
We were big fans of... or maybe just me, was the biggest fan of Star Wars Destiny on this show. For the longest time, it was a card game by Fantasy Flight Games. It was the last Star Wars game that they produced. Or the most recent, I guess, is probably a better way to say it. And now, so we've been through a period of what I like to call the dark times.
The dark ages.
Where there's been no Star Wars game, which isn't entirely true. We did an Outer Rim expansion update. They did do that, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
Quit complaining.
It wasn't new. So I was really excited to find out that Fantasy Flight was doing a Star Wars deck building game that they announced. I think it was last year, and it is out, and we've played it a bunch. And it's Star Wars, and it's cards, and it's good. It's really good. Angela, do you want to explain a little bit about what it is?
Yes, I do, Christian. All right, so it is a 2-player only game.
Okay, like Destiny.
Yep. And it is on the box 30-ish minutes, which we can attest to.
Attested.
So it's Star Wars. It's 2-player only, 30-ish minutes. What is there to hate?
No, I don't know.
Nothing. So it just kind of reimagines the fight between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance, and you recruit people to your team. You recruit items, I guess. There's things that you can, like ships, also to protect your bases, and you try to destroy your enemies' bases. Usually we played like 4 or 5 one time.
Yeah.
But you can decide as a, unit if you want to play to destroy 10 bases.
I mean, I guess technically you could do all 10.
Mm-hmm. Or if you just want to go one and done.
that'd be like 3 turns.
Yeah, it would be.
It'd be so quick.
So, yeah, that's what the game is.
Yeah, it is a deck building game, so you're adding to your deck, maybe thinning it out, getting rid of the dumpy cards so that you get those more powerful cards more often.
Yes, sir.
So, let's jump into it. How easy is it to set up and tear down?
It's so simple.
So simple.
I mean, like we always say, the box is usually a really good indicator, and this box is small.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was surprised at.
I was too, because I don't know why, but I just have this, when I think Fantasy Flight Star Wars.
You're like, oh, it's going to be giant.
Yes, yeah. I just have that visualization in my mind.
Yeah, totally. And normally, like, I guess we have to compare it to, like, the LCGs. So, like,
Sure.
Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones back in the day, those weren't small.
No.
This is a pretty small form factor, but there's over, like, 125 cards in here, which is really cool.
Yeah. And it's so simple. It's just the cards. I mean, it reminds me of Destiny in the setup and teardown.
Okay.
Like, it's just the cards and the dice for Destiny.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like, it's just the cards and the chits.
Yep.
Or whatever you want to.
Yep. The cards are divided into 3 categories. There's Empire, Rebels, and then there are neutral cards.
Yes.
But to start, you just get a starting deck of Empire or Rebels. Mm-hmm. And then you have your, your base cards. So there's like a base deck. And I guess you could technically pick whatever one to start with, but there's one that says, start with this one.
Right.
And so everybody starts with a pretty low power base. Every base has power, so as you shuffle through the base deck, you can like choose which ones you want to do next that might help you out.
And then there's health on the base, so...
Yeah, and then you set up what's called the Galaxy Row, which is the marketplace.
Yeah.
In all deck building games, you need a market.
Yep.
You need to be able to add cards to your deck. And that's the main mechanic of this one. And it's you lay out 6 cards, orientate them how they should be,
Yep.
and then you're good to go. Empire goes first because they're the best.
Oh, look at that.
No, that's what this says in the rules.
Oh, okay.
Not that they're the best, but they go first.
Yes, they do always go first.
Yeah.
But the Force always starts with the Rebel.
The Force will be with you.
Mm-hmm. So it's very simple. Setup and teardown, super simple. You don't need a box insert here.
No, it comes with one, like a pretty usable is the word I'm thinking of. One, I ended up sleeving these cards, and so it kind of like made it a little tight, but everything definitely still fits.
And then, how accessible do you think it is for new people to learn?
I think it's very simple.
Yes.
With all deck building games, and I'm thinking back to when I played my first few, it's very confusing to just be like, you just play everything in your hand. It's like, oh, but I have to pay for it. It's like, no, you don't. You just have to play it.
Yeah.
And then based on what you play, you activate other stuff. Mm-hmm. And so that's the hardest thing to remember or to teach a new gamer about deck building games, in my opinion.
Yeah, because there are lots of games where you can't play a card from your hand unless you can pay the cost.
Yeah.
But this is the reverse. You're playing the cards so that you can buy from the market.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't really think about because we have, a lot of deck building games and all the way from like Fort to Clank to, Dune Imperium's got a little
Well, yeah,
bit,
you and the kids are way into the Harry Potter one again during spring break right now.
So I don't really think all the way back to, oh yeah, that was kind of weird to just play everything.
When there's 1.2 where I was, in the first time we played it, I was like, I really want to play this card. But,
yeah.
But I don't have 3 gold. And you're like, you already bought it.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay it. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I can just play it.
I should not have helped the Galactic Empire. So I think it's super accessible, especially since I have this visualization that someone is bringing this to the table that knows how to play it.
Yeah.
Although the rule book is really thin.
Yeah, it's like 22 pages.
Really easy. Looks more like a pamphlet and less like a book. So that's always encouraging.
Yeah, there's no rules reference.
No rules reference and learn to play, as Fantasy Flight does so well. And I think, you could teach anyone.
Grandma.
Well, yeah.
Maybe not.
I would say anyone who's interested in Star Wars is going to easily just eat this up.
And there's fun mechanics that you learn where you can do what's called bounty hunting, where you're only allowed to purchase your faction cards. And so if I see a faction card of the rebels that are out there that I don't want you to have, instead of attacking you directly, I can attack the card in the galaxy row. So I can like preemptively attack Han Solo, get him out so that you can't get him to then use against me later.
Yeah.
So that's a fun mechanic.
I like that.
It's kind of, it's another layer to it. And then there's the neutral cards, which anybody can purchase. And
ships, neutral.
Yeah, they range from like Jawas to bounty hunters to Jabba the Hutt to Bosk, like all the bounty hunters and stuff like that. So it's very accessible.
Yes,
I would say.
And I think I'm just gonna slide right in. I'm gonna slide right into the next one.
Okay.
I think it does a very good job of being immersive.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, that mechanic of fighting someone in the galaxy row versus fighting my base, it feels so thematic. Like, okay, am I going to go after, like if I'm the Empire, am I going to spend my time and ships and turn going after Han Solo so that he can't join the rebels? Mm-hmm. Or am I going to focus on, the rebel base? And I think that that's fun. I think that the ships guarding the base and protecting it with health
that's a cool mechanic.
Thematic.
So there's like a capital ship mechanic.
Yep.
Where they go and block your base.
Yeah, it's just a shield, right?
Yeah.
So they absorb 5 damage before you can hit the base, or 2 damage, or whatever it is.
And some of them shoot back too, so it's like it all is very cool.
Yes, and I love getting the characters on my team. Like, there's just something about getting Lando Calrissian
What have we here?
To come to my team. And I did get Han and the Millennium Falcon.
There's some cool synergy with that, wasn't there?
Yes, but I didn't ever get them in the same hand.
Oh.
I had them in my deck, but they never came in the same hand. I think I got one of them pretty late in the game. So
yeah, one of the cool thematic ones is Boba Fett. For some reason, he is on the Empire. He's an Emperor. Oh my gosh, an Empire card.
There you go.
And he's not neutral, which is interesting, because some of the other bounty hunters are. But he gets bonuses to doing the bounty hunting skill. So, like, if I choose Boba Fett to attack the Hoth base, he's only going to do 4 damage. But if I choose Boba Fett to fight Han Solo, because Han Solo is in the Galaxy Row, he'll then do 7 damage. So
right.
he's better at that. And so there's like some fun thematic stuff that happens with a lot of the cards.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of the Empire, because I've only played Empire. You've only played Rebels.
Yes.
A lot of the Empire cards, they have like a lot of the generals. So if you're a nerd, like General Veers, who is the AT-AT guy in the second movie, like he buffs all the troopers and all the vehicles. And then there's another Admiral guy who buffs all of the starships. And so, like, depending on who you have and what cards, it's really fun to combo all those, and it's very thematic in that way.
Yes. Agreed. I feel like for what this is, it's so thematic.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's fun?
No.
Christian, don't even lie to me.
No, it's very fun, and one of the main reasons why it's fun, and this might be kind of weird, is that it's short.
Right.
You get a whole Star Wars experience in a very short amount of time. Destiny was short. I mean, it kind of drags on at times, but this one is just like the writing's on the wall. At some point, you just know, like, there's 2 more turns.
Yeah.
And if I don't stop you now, like, I'm dead. And then if she doesn't stop, like, it's just fun.
Yeah,
I don't know how to describe it.
It is super fun. And I wasn't not looking forward to this game, but I wasn't as eager as you, maybe.
Probably
because of the bad taste of Destiny in my mouth.
Sure.
But I ended up really enjoying the experience of the deck building aspect. And I don't know, Christian, if I've just matured.
Grown.
Not
grown, like...
But, or if it is slightly different, but I didn't feel as much like, I don't know, animosity between the two sides.
Yeah,
like,
that was going to be my question as you were saying that. Like, you, rightfully so, would get upset losing at Destiny.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because, like, if you start losing people in Destiny, you're at a huge disadvantage? Because you lose dice. And you lose a bunch of stuff that you couldn't do. So in this one, like, even though it's just a race to kill 4 bases or 5, whatever, you're never really at a disadvantage except that someone is closer to the finish line.
Sure, maybe that's it. Because it does, in that way, Destiny could feel a lot like the rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
Right, like if Luke Skywalker killed your Jabba the Hutt, and it's like, well, now all I have left is a Tusken Raider. Yeah. How am I supposed to win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you knew, you just felt, I always just felt icky. So I don't know if maybe the, like, time, I mean, I did clear out, like, your office closet, which did have all the Destiny cards and all the Destiny dice. And it was kind of like ooh, are we ever going to break this out again type of feeling. But now that we have this deck building game, I don't know if I ever would.
Yeah, I mean, I will at some point. Maybe I'll teach our son because I can make some decks and he might like that. But this one's great. I love just the thematic fun. I feel like one turn that sticks out is, like, I think Darth Vader blew up an entire planet when I had him. It's like, he's so strong. And like he got bonuses if the Force was with me. So it was like you had like 12 hits left on your base, and I was just like Darth Vader 12 dead.
Yeah, and I had nothing protecting it. So yeah, it was
a big swing. Like I wasn't planning on winning that turn, but I was just like, oh,
yeah,
boom.
And I feel like the first time we played it, I liked it. I had fun, but I also had this question in my mind, like, is it a little lopsided? Like a little bit?
Because all the cards would go in my way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even in like the Galaxy row, just there wasn't anything being drawn for me to fight. So it was like if he had Empire cards being drawn, I could have fought those, but it felt like it was neutral and then a lot of rebels.
Lots of rebels.
Which was great for me because then I could choose which ones to buy, but it also meant that Christian had his pick of like all these bonuses from killing people in the Galactic row. So I felt our Galaxy row. So I just felt like it was maybe just a tinge lopsided. And then we played again, and I was like, no, I think it's...
You won handily that time.
I don't know if it was handily.
I mean, it was maybe like 4 bases to 2.5.
Yeah, I feel like it's always been real close, and I feel like it's really well balanced. So...
Much like the light side and the dark side.
Right, exactly.
Which is one mechanic that I naturally tend to stay away from, like that mechanic where it's just like pull the Force closer to you.
Oh, tug of war
mechanic in a game. No, don't like it. Watergate. Bleh.
Or the Seven Wonders duel with the army part?
Seven Wonders duel. Bleh. And that portion of the game.
Yes,
like I ignore it constant. Like even in this game, the first couple times, and then the Darth Vader turn, I was like, well, I have to do this.
Yeah.
To get the massive bonus. So it can help you. And I realized at that point, it's like, oh, it's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason.
Not for me to just ignore.
The Force is there for a reason, Christian. Yeah. Loads of fun. The only maybe downside is that like it's capped at 2. So you can't.
Yeah. I just don't know how you would do it with more than 2.
Yeah.
Which I think it makes it unique. It's great. I would say it's definitely worth it, obviously, from the excitement of us talking about it. Mm-hmm. It's a fairly inexpensive game. I think it was like $39. Yep. For you get a ton of cards, you get some little like currency cubes.
Yep.
It's great. The only thing is that, of course, it's Fantasy Flight, and so you're just like, well, what's next? Like, give me some more cards. Although we've played it a fair number of times.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen, like, you have yet to pull Luke.
That's true.
As rebels.
I think I saw Leia once, but she got killed
I took her out
real quick.
Big time.
So never had her in my deck.
Yeah. And then like there's some funny like Rogue One characters that come out every once in a while.
Yes.
Like Cassian is in it, and like what's the one guy with the big gun, like Baze?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was just like
I love it.
Like if you get him later in the game, like he's so much stronger, and so like that was just a cool mechanic. Like
yeah, he's low cost because he comes to your team weak. But I guess I should say he comes to your team and he only gets his power from how far you're down, basically.
How many bases
how many bases have been killed.
Yeah.
So if you can play him late in the game,
yeah,
it's like he's doing 11 damage or something like that.
But then there's also some like notable people missing. I don't know if you've noticed this. There's no Emperor.
Yeah.
In the dark side. There's no R2D2 or C3PO.
Yeah, that is
like those are like key people.
Right.
I think Greedo's in there.
Did you see Bosk?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that card a couple times.
Okay.
So there's like the classic bounty hunter crew from Empire. That's
right.
I think they're all there. Maybe not IG. Well, IG-88's in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's some bigger ones where you're just like, why are
they not in
no
there?
Admiral Akbar. There's no...
Yeah. He was in... all these characters were in Destiny.
Yeah.
So...
And then there's the whole Clone Wars, so they could go nuts.
Oh,
honestly.
Yeah. You just like, what's the new edition that's going to come out?
And of course it's going to happen. It's Fantasy Flight, so it's like, well, it'll happen eventually. I'm not saying I need it right now because there's still so much to go through with this box, because that Galaxy deck is like 90 cards.
Right.
And so we haven't, like we just said, we haven't seen Luke. We don't know what he did, you know, like I'm sure he's great. He probably counters Vader. Awesome.
Yeah. And I think like for us, it's an easy, yes, it's worth it. And I think really it might be one that's worth it for almost every gamer, because I can't think, maybe Fort, but of the deck building games, they tend to just be longer games.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's okay. Like sometimes you do want the long draw of like honing your deck in and making sure that it's growing in the right way and you're extracting the cards you don't want. But this one is just nice because it's deck buildings, but it's also short.
Well, and then other deck building games that we have, you're always playing against the game. This one we're playing against each other, which is kind of cool.
I mean, Clank was against each other.
Yeah, but we never attacked each other, did we? It's been a really long time since I played Clank.
Arnok is a little bit of deck building.
But you're playing against the game again.
Yes.
To do actions.
You're racing.
Fort, you can kind of manipulate people's cards, but you're not really like...
I guess maybe the closest is Dune Imperium with the, assigning things to military.
True. But again, this one's just, I feel like it's unique in the ones that we've played.
Yes. I would say maybe like, well, besides it being like Destiny adjacent, maybe like Keyforge.
Maybe. I mean, it's but there's just no deck building in that.
No,
but
you have your deck.
It's similar.
So I would say it's maybe worth it for anyone who has a game collection to pick it up, especially if you're at all into Star Wars.
Yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably already have it. Yeah. And if you don't, what are you doing?
What are you doing? The Force is not with you. All right, well, we'll be right back to talk about some things that came up while we played this game.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed your conversation, our conversation.
Maybe they did have a conversation.
maybe they just ignored what we were doing for the past 25 minutes. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us. At the end of every show, we like to just kind of wrap everything up and just talk about, what we talked about while we were playing the game, after the game, as we were discussing the show. And I think we've done this before, Angela, but because this is a Star Wars game, you start thinking about other games that are in like movie universes or just other like IPs, themes, Marvel, that are out there. So my question is there a game that doesn't exist yet that you wish did? Like that includes like a movie franchise or a book that you've read, or TV shows, stuff like that. Okay.
I mean, I always like amusement parks and like that sort of theme. I can't think of a specific like movie. But then there's also like, I've been really into fantasy basketball and just the NBA in general this year and last. And so I don't know, like if you could do something with like NBA and I don't know, model it after.
Yeah, like what would you do? That's interesting. Like you set, I don't know.
Not like actually playing the game of basketball.
No, but like
on a board, but maybe like the more like the behind the scenes general manager or like position of like acquiring. So you like have
a starting five and you lay those down in front of you. Right. And you get bonuses from those starting five, and then depending on how much points, you sell so many tickets, and then you sell so many.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It just makes me realize there's not a lot of sports games.
Yeah, that are like true based on. I mean, sure, they're probably out there. I know there's the 11 game that's been released by the same guys who did Robinson Crusoe. Oh, like they have a soccer manager. Oh, okay. Game that was on Kickstarter, just released in the past few months. Okay. So I know that's like the truest sports games. So that's interesting.
What about you?
I feel like I would love a really good Jurassic Park game.
Oh, there's my amusement park. Jurassic Park.
There you go. But not like, I don't want to manage the park and feed dinosaurs. That's dumb. I want the disaster. So I want the surviving in the jungle, dinosaurs chasing you or whatever, and you have to escape and survive.
Cooperative?
Sure. Okay. Or not. I mean, like, I guess Nemesis, but Jurassic Park, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, when you said, what was it? I don't want to feed dinosaurs and manage the park. I was like, oh, that sounds very good.
Well, there's like Dinosaur Island, which is like it's like loosely Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool, but I don't care about hatching like,
I do.
When I think about Jurassic Park, I think about the terror.
Sure.
So like the hiding in the ovens from velociraptors. Mm-hmm. And so like that's what I want. And I feel like we did an episode about the Ravensburger game. It does an okay job of simulating Jurassic Park. Very simple.
Yeah.
But I just want something that's more, I don't know, intense.
Like imagine like the Nemesis miniatures, but
yeah,
dinos.
And I mean, miniatures would be great. It doesn't have to be, as long as it's like you get the feel of Jurassic Park.
Okay.
I'm in. I don't know what that would be, but somebody make it and I'll buy it.
Somebody make it. It's just super easy, we hear, to just make a game. Yeah,
just a weekend project.
Yeah. All right, so that's what came up for us, and we hope that you'll give us any feedback, of course, but if you have an IP that you wish was made, a game was made for it, let us know. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's hear it. Whether, Twilight, Cool Run-Ins.
Oh my gosh, Twilight, no.
Cool Run-Ins, the board game.
Hey, Jamaica, we're a bobsled
That would be really funny. So yeah, let us know. Ange, let's wrap up the show by telling everybody what you've been reading.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, tell them where they can find us. And I was like, wait, we haven't talked about what's bringing us joy. Okay, well, you've caught me at a very interesting time because I just finished my audiobook at like 5:05.
So like a couple hours ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, so nothing? You're not reading anything?
No, so I have a physical book.
Oh,
Our missing.
Everyone is worried.
Yeah, I know. Everyone is worried. Physical book is Our Missing Hearts.
Oh. You can't live without a heart, I hear.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, not that.
Oh.
But it is about like kind of a dystopian but very near future.
Okay.
So a little bit like
2026.
Scary. Yeah. So that's there, but it's not like zombies and
no.
Okay. And then I just finished, and it's actually a Hulu series, but the book was released decades ago.
Oh, this is you were telling me about this.
Is called Kindred. And so it is about a black woman in the show, I think she lives in modern times. In the book, it was modern times.
It's the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was 1976. And she gets transported by really, we never find out really what's causing it. But back to 1815.
Okay, so like 150 years.
Yep, and so in the South. So and I don't want to ruin anything, but like why she goes where she goes.
Okay.
But anyway, the book is great. The show I haven't watched yet, but I'm excited to watch it.
Cool. That's great.
What's bringing you joy, Christian?
So what's bringing me joy? And if anybody's wondering, I'm not reading anything right now.
Oh, Christian, what are you reading?
I'm just too busy.
Oh, okay. You know what, Christian? You make time for what you make time for.
Oh, wow. That was a slap in the face. Yeah. Anyways, that reminds me I need to clean my room. No, I think what's bringing me joy right now, I'm going to say Diablo 4.
Oh. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I played the beta this past weekend. I'm a huge Diablo fan. I'll say that I never really got into Diablo 2, and if you're an old school Diablo player, you're like, oh my gosh, what a dork. How did he not play 2? But I played so much Diablo 3, and that's my all-time favorite game, and I bought it, and you can plug your ears, but like 3 different times on 3 different systems.
Whoa.
So I'm in it. Diablo 4 was very fun. I'm looking forward to the game. That's what's bringing me joy. So there you go.
Cool.
How about you?
Our air fryer.
Oh, wow.
Guys, we have an air fryer now.
That's such a difference. Like,
yeah.
Stupid video games feeding our family.
Listen, nothing, it doesn't have to be profound. It can just be whatever. So I'm saying our air fryer because I know we're late to the air fryer game. This is actually our second air fryer.
That's true. We had a really OG air fryer.
Yes.
Secondhand,
given to us free of charge. So we were like, yeah, we'll try it. About 7 years ago.
It was so long. It didn't work.
Yeah, and it was not a good experience.
No.
And also took forever to clean. So
oh, that didn't it?
This was we were like, oh no, air fryers, no, not worth it. It's kind of like the panini press for us where it's like, oh, this is great. And then you're like, I don't want to clean this ever.
Yeah.
And so you never use it again.
Well.
Or you just never clean it, I guess. So this one, fantastic. Technology has improved 150%.
Not possible.
And we are loving the air fryer.
All right, give me 2 recipes that you love to do in the air fryer.
Well, I think the biggest thing is just being able to heat frozen food.
Oh, yeah.
In the air fryer much quicker.
Yeah, because our daughter loves these like chicken tikka bites from Trader Joe's, and then it's like 7 minutes and it's done.
So that is super nice. Ours doesn't have to preheat. Like our air fryer doesn't have to preheat. So that is fantastic. Also, we did a like sesame cauliflower.
That was so good.
It was so good.
So
like
crunchy.
Instead of sesame chicken, it was like sesame cauliflower. Very, very good.
One of the biggest surprises that I've had from that is I had leftover French fries, which I'm sure you're out there like, what? Who does that?
You mean you didn't finish your French fries?
Long story. I had a ton of fries left over, and so I put them in the air fryer, and they got crispy.
Yes,
like,
not mushy.
Yeah, just like at a restaurant. So it was very cool.
So how accessible do you think that this is to new users?
An air fryer?
Oh, are we not?
Okay, so
the
like
air fryer.
Yeah, the theme of the air fryer
does a really good job. Of
telling a story of fried chicken. Set up and tear down. Tear down's the hardest part because you got to clean that dumb basket.
You know what? It's really not that bad. The cleaning,
but it's the hardest part.
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're late to the party. We know, but air fryers.
We know it's getting late because we're getting silly.
Who knew?
All right, Christian.
You're gonna make me do it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We appreciate everyone listening to us. We would love to hear from you, whether you contact us on Instagram, and that's @marriedandbored, Twitter @marriedbored. You can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com. We would love to hear from you. If you want to answer the question of what IP do you want a game made out of? Do you ever do board game weekends? If so,
how do you do them?
Yeah, what struggles or successes have you had with those? How many people is too many people to have a board game weekend? Just let us know. Chat us up. We're always willing and wanting to talk. So do that.
And leave a review,
Yeah, if you feel so led, leave a review. We would love to hear it. It's how we get more people to listen to the show. Yeah. So we appreciate it. We are also, I want to just challenge everyone, we're also closing in on 1,000 followers on our Instagram. So we're thinking about doing a giveaway. So get a look out for that.
Tell your family, tell your grandma.
Yeah, so I'll just spoil it here. We have an extra copy of Ahoy somehow.
What?
Actually, I know how, and I'll explain it on the post. But I think we're going to give that away to whenever we go over that threshold. So be on the lookout for that. Anything else you want to say, Angela?
No, I want to say may the force be with you.
And also with you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.